Hey guys, it's Maymay, and today we're making this super cool card that fits in a 5x7 envelope flat, but then pops open like this. How incredible. I love this card. And yes, it also can hold a tea light. We'll talk about that in the end. So let's get busy making this cool card. So the first thing you're going to need for this card is a 5x7 piece. The cool thing about it is it'll fit in a 5x7 envelope. So that's why we're using this as our base. I need to score this and fold it. So what we're going to do is we're going to score it in half. And since it's 7 inches long, we're going to score it at 3.5. So this piece gets scored at 3.5, right down the middle. And I'm going to go ahead and fold this over and crease it down while I've got it here so I can get a nice, clean, crisp fold. So there we go. That is our card base. Now what we're going to do is I decided I wanted this to look kind of like a book. Not really like a book, but I just kind of like the look that it gave when I did this corner rounding. So in the top corners up here, I'm going to close this down, and with my 1/2 inch corner round, I'm going to round those corners. And while I've got it folded, I'm going to go ahead and do the fold at the top also. You'll see why in just a second. So when I open this guy out, it looks like that, kind of like a book. Not exactly. You could really play on that if you wanted to, but I thought it was kind of neat. All right, now we're going to do a little embossing on it. So let me get my stuff for that. So we're going to be embossing 2 different stamps from 2 different sets. The one I'm going to use here, this stamp set is called Celebrate the Season, and my mother actually wrote these sentiments. And the one I'm going to use is called Born on a Midnight Clear, a baby boy so small and dear, a holy child sent from glory. That's the real Christmas story. So I'm going to use this one. And then on this set, I'm going to use Happy Birthday Jesus because it is perfect for this, right? Okay, so let me show you a couple heat embossing tips. Number 1. I like this little powder tool that comes in the little pillow. So I'm going to use this to get all of the oils I can off of my blue paper. The other thing is I am only going to be stamping up here. Down here I won't be stamping. So putting my hand here is fine. I just want to make sure I have enough powder here that embossing doesn't stick where I don't want it to. Okay, that also gets any kind of liquid or humidity or anything off the page. Now here's another trick. Normally I would use Versamark for this, and it's perfectly fine if you want to. But sometimes when I want a really good white embossing, I will use my alabaster ink from Christopher, and then, or from Brutus Monroe, I always need to say that right, from Brutus Monroe, and then I will emboss this, and then I get a whiter image even still. So let me get my white powder. So I'm going to use Nuvo here. That's the white one that I'm going to use. So let's get our stamping done first. The other cool thing about this is, oh, you know what? I need to protect my work surface first. Hold on. So you need a little scrap of something to put underneath to get the powder off after you're through. So there's a piece out of my scrap bin. Just pick that one up. All right. So the cool thing about using the white pigment is I can see my image where I'm stamping, even on camera, because a lot of times on camera, you guys can't see it because we're using the Versamark, you know, it's clear, but the Versamark works just fine. But I'm just inking this guy up really nice. And then I'm going to stamp Happy Birthday Jesus on this side, kind of toward the top. Don't want to wiggle, just want to sit that down. Get a good image. Perfect. And I'm going to go ahead, because Christopher's ink will dry faster than Versamark, I'm going to go ahead and hit it with the embossing powder. That's going to be pretty. See that? I mean, nice and crisp. Okay, now I'm going to stamp the other side with the other sentiment, which is the wording. Now this is a juicy pigment pad, okay, so I don't want to over ink. I'm not squishing that down in. And when I place this on my paper, I also don't want to squish the stamp. I just want to sit it and let it sort of kiss the page, just like that. Then I'll pick that up. Beautiful. Okay, now then, we'll powder this as well. I don't know if you know, but sometimes with white embossing, when you use a clear embossing ink underneath, especially if you're doing this on like black or navy blue paper, you can get some skips in your embossing. And using the white ink, I find really keeps me from getting that. It really kind of doctors it up. All right, I got to put everything away before we heat this. Now you also might want to take a paintbrush or something that's fluffy on one end and kind of get off any excess that might be lingering around on your page. Be careful not to rub that over your stamp image. And let this guy heat up. Even if you let him heat up for like 30 seconds, the less time we have to put it onto our project, the better. So I'm going to let this preheat. Okay, so there is my heat embossing. Now I'm just going to tell you, you're going to get embossing powder in places you don't want it on these dark color cards. It's just going to happen. I got a little fleck right there that you can see pretty good, and there's a little bit inside here. Even when you clean it off perfectly beforehand, when you hit it with the heat and it starts to blow the powder around, it's going to happen. Don't let that be the end of your card. Trust me, by the time we finish, nobody will see those, and we can add little stars and really hide all of that. So let me also do some stamping of stars. So on that same Celebrate the Season stamp set are these little stars. They come in multiple sizes. I'm just going to put some of these around here and there because I think it'll be pretty in the night sky to have some little stars just around wherever you might want it. I'll put one there to kind of disguise that mistake I had. So there's a few like that. And then I'm going to do a different size. I think I'm just going to do one large one sort of in the middle, right about here. Just the one. And I think that might be enough because of the way we're going to build it. If it's not, I can come back and do one more later. All right, now for the fun part. So I got my Cuttlebug out and I'm using my long plates. And the die set I'm using is so beautiful. We just got this in the store. Vince found this and I fell in love with it. I will show you. So one die set is this one. This is the nativity scene. It comes by itself in a package. And then the second set has the wise men, the little sheep. It has a camel. Let me get them all. So it has a camel and it also has a shepherd. Isn't this great? We're going to use everything except... Nope, we ended up using them all this time. Okay, I couldn't remember. All right, so I'm going to place some blue paper in here like so. See if I can back that out a little bit. And I'm going to get my stable like so. I'm going to put my sheep up here in the corner. I think he'll cut from there. I'm going to go ahead and get my little shepherd, and let me see if the wise men will fit. If they won't, the camel might. We may have to pass it twice. They're close. I think I'm going to put the camel there to be safe. Perfect. So I'm going to cut these guys out. So I've got them all cut out, and let me show you how beautiful this is. So I'm going to pop out the pieces here so I can get it out of the die set. There's several little places I can do a little poke and get rid of some images. Here, it will help you to release this from the die itself, these little circles. So once I do that, I can get underneath it and lift this out. And this done in this navy is incredible. Look how beautiful this is. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, so there's the manger. Let's do our shepherd, then our camel. There's our sheep, and now our wise men. If I can pick them up, they're running from me. They know better. Okay, here we go. Those are our wise men. Now here's a cool thing too. That little star that pops out, let me pick it up here. Out of the top of this nativity scene, you could totally use this too. That little star, you could pop it up, maybe even cut one out in like yellow or glitter. That would be pretty popped right there. Okay, so let me show you what we're going to do with these. You're going to probably freak out a little bit on me for a second, but here's what we're going to do. First thing we're going to do is we're going to fold this image in half. Now, you need to decide if you want Mary on one side or Joseph on the other, whichever side you want them, if that matters to you. For me, I'm not as picky about that, so I'm going to fold this in half, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this bar and line them up. They are not mirror images. As you can see, the grass or the hay is a little different on one side, but the bar or the railing that's holding the manger up is pretty much the same. So then I'm going to work this into its center, and wherever that center is, I'm going to crease it, top and bottom. Okay, so what you get is this. And I'm actually going to bend it back the opposite way. So you could do it to the back if you wanted to, but I want it to have a good bend, so I'm going to bend it both directions anyway. So you can see what I'm doing there, just getting a nice bend. Now that I've got it, I can crease it with my bone folder gently and carefully. Gently and carefully. Okay, so there we go. That one is bent. I don't need to bend any other ones. Now we need some strips. Now this one, I actually had a 1/2 inch strip and I cut this in half, but I went ahead and scored it when it was 1/2 inch. I'll tell you what the score marks are. So this is a 1/4 by 8 inch strip of cardstock, scored in the middle at 4, and then at 1/2 inch here and 1/2 inch in from the end down here. So these are going to be little 1/2 inch tabs. We're going to fold those back like that. And then the middle is going to get folded back as well. Okay, so that's one piece you're going to need. This piece, we're going to make this real easy, okay? This piece is 11 inches, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to fold it in half, and I'm not even going to worry about scoring it because I'm just going to crease this down like this and use my bone folder to make it snug and smooth it out. And then to keep from measuring, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this end and fold it to that center. This is like we do when we make our cheater bows. You know, when we make bows without scoring or without any fancy tools. Doing the same thing. I'm going to bring this side in just like that and crease that down. So that is going to be the piece that's going to hold our wise men and our shepherd on the inside of the card. And then this piece is going to hold our stable on the front. All right. So let's go ahead and put these pieces into the card. So I'm going to bring this guy over now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this out flat like this. And I'm going to lay this at the bottom, flush with the bottom of the card. It is going to hang out. Don't worry about that because it won't when we're done, but for now it will. And you want to put this into the card without crossing your score mark. So here's what I did. I just took some art glitter glue. And on that back section, we only want to glue this back section in. So from the score line back, we're going to put some art glitter glue there. And what I did was I put this down right at the score line, lined it up at the bottom, and then I went ahead and closed the card to make sure I wasn't getting any resistance, and I'm not. Okay, so we're good right there. So get that nice and lined up. And then from this score line back, I'm going to glue again. Just like that. And lay this down on there. Perfect. That's how you want to do that. Now you get this, and that's what we're looking for. This is where our shepherds are going to live in here, and this is where Mary and Joseph are going to live at the front. Okay, so let's put our little piece for Mary and Joseph together. This is the piece that will go here. You're going to glue it right there using those little 1/2 inch tabs that we made, but it might be easier for you if you do this. Let's go ahead and glue our wise men on, and all we're going to do is put glue at the bottom here, and I'm going to put them here at the bottom of that piece. You could raise them up if you wanted them to be more seen. Matter of fact, well, I've already got them glued down, but you could raise them up if you want them to show a little better. I kind of wanted them to be kind of the height of the manger scene, so glue that there. And then my shepherd gets glued on the other side. So put some glue at the bottom of the shepherd. I'm going to glue his little staff down too to be safe. And then he gets glued in this corner on this side. Just like so. And these are easier if you do them now versus wait till you have the manger scene in. All right, so there's that, looking like that, okay? Then we are going to put our manger scene on, and I think I'm going to go ahead and actually glue them down. So here's what we do. The reason I made a 1/4 inch strip is because it'll hide behind this section here. So what we do is we put our glue onto our manger scene at the very bottom, just like this. And then we're going to glue it to that 1/4 inch strip we made. And we're going to line up those the middle score with the point of our little manger scene that we did. And line them up at the bottom of each other. Just push that down so that it's at the bottom. There we go. Mine wasn't quite down. So get that lined up like so. Then, down here, I'm going to put my sheep. So I'm just going to add a little glue here. Get my little sheep. He might be a cow. I called him a sheep because he was little, but he looks like he might be a cow now that I look at him. Put him there. And then I'm going to wait to put my camel on, and I'll show you why. We're going to have to do a little trimming on him. All right, so now we just glue these tabs into our card. So I'm going to pick this one and put a little glue on that little 1/2 inch piece. And it's going to go. For me, it's easiest to just hold this up and put it in place. Hold it there for a second and let it catch. Just like this. There we go. So hold that for a second. Then we're going to put this one in on this side right here. So I can put a little glue on my tab. And then slide it into place. and just put a little pressure there to hold it. Isn't that cool how that does, how it stacks and layers? Okay, now what I want to do is I'm going to open this guy out flat. I'm going to squish my everything flat so it'll lay nice and flat in our envelope. That's how it gets delivered, but we want to add our camel. And what I decided to do was to put my camel down here on this end, and I'm going to glue him in here, not touching Mary, a little away from Mary there. Put him right there. And then I'm going to flip the card over and trim off the excess. See where he hangs out? Just going to trim that off, just like so. And that is our card, which you cannot see that way, but you can see it this way. How beautiful is that? Now, I got a little glue here, and it actually pulled up a little bit so I can see it. So I'm just going to use my little mono eraser and get that off. So this is how it ends up looking when it's done. And this is how it goes into your envelope. It goes into a 5x7 envelope, okay? I do think I need to stamp a star there. Let's do it while I'm sitting here. Perfect. Just needed something. So that is how it looks. When the recipient gets it, they just sit it up like this. Now, I know what you're thinking because I thought it too. I think a tea light is really pretty in here. And I suggest when you put the tea light in, don't make this like a square. Make it more like this. Have it stand up more in this orientation because it's such a large area. If you don't have a super bright tea light, and I don't, it's a little hard to get it to light up. I'm going to try to show you this in photos. But that tea light, if you keep it a little close, you get a better glow. But if you do it like this, you lose some of the light. Now, I will say this. This is a regular old Dollar Tree style tea light. This guy is an LED light. Have y'all seen these? These are LED and they twist. These you can get online. You probably can find them in a local store near you. But these twist and they're super bright. So watch, I'm going to light this guy up. You can see how bright it is, right? And when you put this one in, the light is, look at that, it's incredible. So if you find some of those, that's what you'll want to use. I'm going to see if I can hold this sideways and let y'all see what it looks like lit up. Look, and that light is so pretty coming out of there. It looks like it's lighting up baby Jesus. Isn't that gorgeous? So think about your lighting, test some things out. Something brighter works much better in this dark navy. But honestly, I showed this to the girls up front and they're like, you don't even have to have a light. And having the little sentiments in there is beautiful. Now, every time we do this, somebody says, but where do I write on the card? Well, that's on the back. I would put white pieces in here. I would just mat it with white, maybe do some more stamping or do something for to write a note or something like that. But that is my first Christmas card of 2019. First one I did. I love this card. And I want to show you my prototype. This is the one I did first. I got it done. That's the very first one I did. And I loved how it looked, but I wanted the stamping and the stars. I just think it needed that. But again, isn't that gorgeous just like that? So I will make sure in the blog post you get all your measurements. You'll have the link to the die cuts. I think these are gorgeous. You should get them because we'll probably do more with this. I can't imagine I will use this for one thing. This is incredible. Hey, thanks so much for watching, guys. And if you make a card like this, I want to see it. Head to our customer gallery on maymaymadeit.com and put pictures of what you're making. I get to see them there and I love it. And if you're looking for inspiration, there's over 2,000 posts there. It's kind of like our very own Pinterest. Thanks so much for watching today, guys. Talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye.